In this video, I'm going to go over the student intake form and the contract. The student intake form is the first thing I send to my students when they inquire about lessons. I send it along with a placement exam, which I will show you in lesson number 4. But the student intake form is more about the composition of our classes. What are we going to do together? And it also sets me up to find out what they want so that I can create a package and then send them that offer in a contract. So first, let's look at the student intake form. Beneath this video, I want you to click this first button, and it's going to take you to Google Drive. If you don't have Google Drive, I highly recommend getting it. It's free. It's where I store all my documents. So you're going to make a copy, and that will take you to this student intake form, which is yours to use and modify, and it's your own private version of this form. So very briefly, I want to go over what I have here and show you how you can modify it. So first, email address, that's how they submit it to you. Phone number, I want to make phone number required. If I want to add an extra question, I simply do this. I want to add full name, because sometimes the email address isn't clear, and I want to make that required as well. Okay, so email address, phone number, and full name are the only required questions. Then we get into the length of the lessons they want, times and dates, where they want to meet, are they interested in Skype, why is learning English important now for them, what's their job, what skills do they want to improve, what themes do they want to study? Are they interested in doing work outside of class? Oops, this one is a mistake. Delete that. Do you need extra help from the teacher outside of class? So let's say we wanted to add an option to the English homework they want to do outside of class. I would simply select that question, and then I can fill in a new option. I'm going to say writing exercises. And if I click away from it, you can see it's right there. Okay, so this is how you send the student intake form. It's very easy. You go into Send, and you can either input your student's email directly here, include it in an email and send, or you can send a link. I like to shorten the link, and then I simply copy it and paste it into an email that I sent to them, because at the same time, I'm also sending the English assessment form, which is basically a placement test. And the genius of the placement test is that it shows you all of the areas that your student needs to work on, and it basically helps you build a tailored syllabus to your student. I will show you more about that in lesson number 4. But for now, we would just copy this and paste it in an email, and then you send it to your student. So let's imagine that I'm a student and I'm going to take this test. So I'll just paste that email into a new browser. And it comes up a little different from this for the student. It doesn't give all of the options up top. So let's say Jennifer at Duolingo. I'm going to put in my phone number, and Jen, Preston. I want to have 2 60-minute lessons a week. And of course, you can always modify these if you're the teacher, or maybe if they want to say, you know what, I want to have 3 times 60-minute lessons. They can do that as well. Any day in the afternoon, Costa Coffee in Wenceslas Square, or Skype, let's say. Are you interested in lessons? Yes, definitely. I'll say high school. And the beauty of this intake form is that because it's on Google, they can very easily translate it if they're having some problems with this, and they can do that on their own time. It gives them a little bit of comfort as they are answering these questions, although it's pretty basic English. Why is learning English important for me? Let's say I need English for my job, and I want it for traveling. I'm a doctor, and that's it. What skills? I really need to improve listening comprehension and vocabulary. What themes would I like to study? I like lots of themes. Let's see, health and exercise, culture, work. I'm not into sports. I'm not into politics. I do like entertainment and the environment, let's say. Am I interested in doing homework outside of class? Definitely listening comprehension and vocabulary review. Do you want extra help from the teacher outside of class time? Sometimes I do need a teacher for document review. Okay, so when I submit it, I get this screen, and then you, as the teacher, get to see that now you have a new response. So now I'm going to show you how we use this information to build out the contract. So if you go below this video, you can click here and get the contract. It's going to take you to another Google Doc. Now this is a locked document since I'm the owner of it, so you're going to need to make a copy for yourself. Go to File, make a copy, name it, and decide the folder you want to save it in. Click OK. And now this document is yours and you can name it whatever you want. So I'm just going to take off the front and call it Private Lesson Contract Template. So very briefly, we want to go over what the student answered in their responses. So if you look at it summary, you can see all of your students' responses, but I just want to see my new student, so individual. Here I have how often they want to meet, all the information that we put in, okay? So, knowing what we just input there, I'm going to fill out this contract to send to them. I'll fill out my name and the student's name. In the student's goals, we want to summarize what they told me. So let's say here, Jennifer wants to improve English for her job as a doctor. She also wants to improve English for traveling. Now, this is important for both of us because we're setting up the expectations. I'm not going to teach her all of the English in the entire world. We are focusing on two things, and they are the two things that she let me know she wanted to focus on. Okay, here's some basic language, what I agree to, being on time, obviously, and what happens if I'm not, what the student agrees to. You obviously can change any of these things. Now, the teaching schedule. Let's say that she wants to meet, as we saw, 3 times per week. So we can say Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and then I can put the time. She said in the afternoon, so I'll put 3 o'clock. And it can change with a certain amount of notice. The deposit is really important. The deposit is what prevents you from not getting paid for a cancellation. So whatever you determine your hourly rate to be, and we'll get to that down here. So let's say the hourly rate, just for sake of ease with math, we're going to say $20. You're going to request a $20 deposit at the beginning of your first lecture. What that does is that protects you against a cancellation where the student doesn't show or doesn't give you enough notice. That $20 is your payment for that cancellation. Then, at your next lesson, they have to give you another deposit. This means that you're always covered for one class. And because you've put it in writing, because they know this from the beginning, it will be less awkward. It will take away the situation where your student is apologizing profusely for not showing up, and you feel like a bad person because you don't want to ask them to pay for that. It's already been listed here what your deposit needs to be. And at the final lesson, you'll return the deposit to the student. Now we get into the package offerings, like we discussed in lesson number 1. And here I have listed 1, 2, and 3. Now, we want to fill in our goal rate. So let's say it's $20 is our goal rate, and so $25 is what we are going to be charging for this. Plus travel time. Now, travel time is up to you. If your student is in a 20-minute radius of the city center or something that you feel is reasonable, I wouldn't charge for travel time. But if the student is far away, you can put that in there because that's important. That you're paid for that. It's not the same to you if you're spending an hour on the metro or if you're going down the street. So make sure you insert some amount of money for travel time. You can also put in here no travel time for Skype, and that sort of incentivizes them to have a Skype lesson with you sometimes instead of paying for you to go all the way out to the office park or wherever they are. So let's just say I'm not going to charge for travel time. Now, because I know Jennifer wants 3 lessons a week, that is 12 lessons a month. So my goal rate is $20. I'm going to put $20 here. And no travel time. Now see how much more appealing the package is for your student. Even though the higher rate is great for you, but $20 was really your goal rate. This extra high rate is to incentivize them to buy the package. See? Now, we can say for option 3, they're going to get goal rate plus 25%. Basically, option 3 is the higher price, the same as option 1, but you're also going to get the security of a package. This is the best offer that we can give them. Now, we decided that there will be no travel time offered, but here is where you list your bonuses. Now, if you look back at the student intake form, Jennifer said that she was interested in improving listening and improving vocabulary. She's also interested in outside of class work, listening and vocabulary, perfect, and maybe document review. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to say digital flashcards each week. We can say, I don't know, let's say 20 plus digital flashcards every week. I'm going to say audio exercises or listening exercises out of class. And then these are going to be part of the package offer. Might also want to say 1 document review each week, let's say. Or you might want to just offer a document review at an hourly rate. Let's say if you spent 15 minutes on it, you would charge them 15. But you want to make sure to list these because these are things that are often thought to be just, oh, can you help me out? Or do you have a little extra time? Can you do this for me? Why not include it in the package? Show them how much more you are offering than the typical teacher and charge more for it and get the security of a package. Now, don't worry. In lesson 5, we're going to go over these bonuses and how they're very easy for you to do. But for now, just know that these are your package options and this is how you would send it to the student. Next, the payment, how you want them to pay, maybe at the cash at the end of each lesson, or you're going to send them an invoice and they'll pay you all at the end of the month. It's up to you. And then here is, again, the cancellation and termination policy. So they really understand that if you cancel within 24 hours, they still have to pay you, and that comes out of the deposit. At all times, make sure you have a deposit from them. Even if they've used it up once, make sure to get another. And then you're going to have signatures and the date, and you can exchange this at your first lesson. And then I can go ahead and change all of this text to black. Great. Now, see how much more professional you look when you have spent a little extra time at the beginning to intake with this form, to find out what they really want to work on, and then to list it all in a contract. Very few English teachers do this, and it really sets you apart and makes you look like you are a more professional service and is going to get you that higher rate and security that you want. Look in your inbox for lesson number 3 tomorrow, and I'll see you there.